Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another Steam Winter Sale 2023 video. In this one, we are taking a look at the games that are for sale under $5. Under $5, you say? What sort of fun could be had at that price? Well, as a matter of fact, a whole lot of fun. This is 12 is better than 6. And this is a wonderful hand-drawn style top-down shooter. Think Hotline Miami in the Old West. And that's about the size of it. Just look at all that blood and guts, the variety of weapons that you get. It's got a very funny sense of humor, and it is extremely fun to play. And 12 is better than 6 is on sale right now for $2.49. Up next is a game that my son and my nephew have put a lot of time into lately. That is 20XTX. 20XX. I say 20XTX because of Homestar Runner. Shout out to those of you who know. Anyway, so yeah, this is a Mega Man style game that is roguelite-ish. The levels are procedurally generated, but they are generated from pre-existing chunks, and so they all fit together. Because you would think, like, man, how do you make a Mega Man game but procedurally generated? Well, you create the individual chunks of level that all interlock together, and then the order in which those chunks are presented to you is randomized, and that's how you end up with 20XTX, and it's only $4.49. So if you like Mega Man, this is an obvious pickup. 8-Bit Boy. 8-Bit Boy is a loving send up, a loving tribute to the classic platformers of days gone by. And you will see elements of some familiar games in here. But it does bring some of its own flavor to the table. In the way that it feels, it actually feels somewhere between Mario Bros. And Gianna Sisters, which is kind of interesting. But it does bring its own little thing to the table, in addition to being a tribute to some of those wonderful games from years gone by. So if you enjoy classic platforming action, 8-Bit Boy is precisely that, and you can have it for the low price of $3.14 at 55% off. Now, if you've ever heard me talk about my favorite shooters on Steam or on anything, you will have heard me talk about Skyforce, Skyforce Anniversary, and Skyforce Reloaded. Amazing, incredible games. What you would have heard about less is Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron, which is in its own right a very, very enjoyable game. Now, Skyforce did us the favor of only being discounted a teeny tiny bit, and so little that I did not even put it on the list. But look at how bullet helly this game gets, and look at how good it looks. There's just so much happening on screen, so many power-ups, so many cool things to do. There is always something on screen that needs your bullet power to bring it down. It is just constant, nonstop bullet hell action. And if that's the kind of thing you like, well, this is a really good game. And it doesn't get enough love. People do tend to know about the Skyforce games, but not a lot of people know about this one. Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron is only $3.59 at 80% off. And so if you are a fan of shooters, this one is an easy recommendation. Up next is one of the easiest recommendations that I routinely make, and that is, hey, you should play Adventure Pals. You really should. Just look at how ridiculously silly this game is. A silly goose, but it's also some excellent platforming and it is an adventure. You play as this boy who has a giraffe that fits in his backpack, and the giraffe has a whole bunch of different moves that it can do that help you move throughout the world and help you to accomplish different goals, take on different enemies. And it is just like every new wrinkle that is added to this game will just make you think like, oh my God, first of all, that is so cute. And secondly, wow, this is super fun. So yeah, I cannot recommend this one enough. I tell everybody all the time, whenever I'm doing recommendations, I'm like, hey, Adventure Pals, right? It is 80% off, just $2.99. It's one of my favorite games on Steam. And so, yeah, you should get it if you don't have it yet. Up next is Apotheon. Apotheon is a Metroidvania in an art style unlike any other. Look at this. You see the Grecian urn style. It looks like classic Greek art, and that's because that's exactly what it is. And this game is hack and slash Metroidvania, and it is beautiful and a real pleasure to play. It's one of those games that when you play it, you're like, man, I can't believe someone thought of doing this. It's such a good idea, such a beautiful art style, and it works so well. And it is only $3.74. Next up, it is a remake of one of my childhood favorites, Archon Classic. Now, Archon is a game very similar to chess, except for anytime a piece lands on top of another piece, rather than simply taking the piece, you go into an arena and fight it out to the death. And so sometimes, even though you were the piece capturing the other piece, you might not live to win the day. You have to actually fight it out. And there are all kinds of magic spells and summoning elementals and teleportations and bringing people back from the dead and like so many wrinkles to the game. It is a fantastic strategy game. And this new version of it, well, I mean, it's not that new. It's like 10 years old at least, but it is new to me. I played the original on the Atari 800 XL. And I still love playing it on that computer to this day. But this is an updated version that has all new game modes and different things that you can learn how to do. And there's a conquest mode where you just go through and lay waste to the land with your magical prowess. It is an extremely fun game. And so if you are someone who enjoys chess, or even if you're someone who doesn't enjoy chess, because this is not enough like chess for you to feel like, oh man, I'm playing chess. But it's also, if you enjoy playing chess, you will love the strategy, but you will also enjoy beating the crap out of each other in the arena. It is so much fun, and it is half off at $4.99. Up next, we have Asura Vengeance Edition, which is a game that reminds me a lot of a sort of Middle Eastern Torchlight, if you know the Torchlight games. The only difference here is that it is procedurally generated. It's got those roguelike elements. And some roguelite elements, because if you die, you can keep some, but not all, of the progress your character has made. And so, yeah, it's a really interesting game, very fun, great art style, great combat, feels very good to beat up on people, as you can see on the screen, and it is half off at $4.99. Up next, I said I like labors of love and small production crews that put things together. This is another one-man team which created this game over a long period of time. I forget how long it was in development, but it was a while. This is one of the Axiom Verge. I haven't said the name yet. Say the name, silly. Axiom Verge. It is one of the best Metroidvania games in a long time. It is right up there with your Hollow Knights, right up there with anything else that you could name in the genre as one of the greatest games ever in this genre. It is so well made, and it is an incredible storyline, and is beautiful, and it was made by just one guy. And that is the thing that always blows my mind when I'm playing it. It is 75% off at only $4.99. I do believe that is a historic low, because this was on my wish list for a while before I broke down and bought it. And I didn't get it at this price, I could tell you that. Up next, we have a great RPG. This is the Banner Saga. Something about the art style in this reminds me of Don Bluth cartoons. I don't know what that is. Does that look like a Don Bluth cartoon to you? Because it sure does to me. Anyway, the beauty of this game is that this is one of the biggest choices matter style RPGs that I have ever seen. When I played it for the first time, I accidentally let someone die in the in the tutorial just because I was goofing around and wasn't taking it seriously. And then that person was gone, and their portion of the storyline was gone with them. And the game just carries on, and you just deal with it. And so, yeah, it's really, really important that you be very strategic. And this is a strategy RPG, very turn-based, very positioning and cover and stats and all of the things that you need for a good strategy RPG are all there. And this game is part of a trilogy. Now, you can get this game for $3.19. If you do, then you will want to get the other ones at some point. You can just break down and buy the whole shebang you can get a 4-pack and play it with your friends. But no, you can get the Trilogy Deluxe Pack for $17. You can get the Stoic Edition that's going to have some more stuff added to it for $24. Yeah, there's a lot there, but if you just want to get a taste for what it's like and see if it's the kind of thing that you like, $3.19 is a really good deal on a beautiful, really well done strategy RPG. Up next, we have the perennial favorite, Bastion. Oh, how long have I been telling people to play this game? Seems like it's been a while. This one comes to us from Supergiant Games. Hold up. Let's just go to Supergiant Games. What else do they make? Oh, ever heard of Hades? Because that's a big deal. Pyre, another very, very good game from them that is also $4.99. Transistor, only $3.99. Bastion. Yeah, these are the games that you get from Supergiant, and they are all fantastic. The beautiful thing about Bastion is that you are this kid. It's an action RPG. You're playing as the titular character. You find yourself in a world that is literally falling apart. And as you walk around, the world sort of, pulls up around you, and you have to fight your way through it. And the really fun thing about this game is that the narrator narrates what you're doing in real time. And so the narrator will point out when you make really stupid tactical errors or when you stupidly fall off the edge of the world for no reason, which I did just to see if, how hard the boundaries were, because sometimes games will let you fall off the cliff and sometimes they won't. And I needed to know. And guess what? It will. You could totally fall off. And then the narrator will make fun of you for making a stupid choice. The game is beautiful in its art style. It is so well made and with such love and care. It is a joy to play, and it is only $2.99. That is a serious deal. It's been around for a while. It's no new game. It's been on the platform for forever. But if you've never played it, if you don't own it, this is a good price, and it's a good time to pick up Bastion. Now, I was reluctant to put this one on the list. This is Bionic Commando Rearmed. If you remember the original Bionic Commando for the NES, this is basically a remake of that game, minus the Nazis if you played the Japanese version. But yeah, it is Bionic Commando as you know it and love it, but with a more modernized art style. And a few other bells and whistles that make it really fun to play. The only problem with this, and you need to know this up front, is that you can't play it as it is in Windows 10. You have to get a cracked EXE, which there are people in the community who will tell you once you buy it and you have access to the community in Steam, look through there. They will tell you, like, here's where you get the cracked EXEs so that you can actually play this game. So if you're not comfortable using a cracked EXE that you have to download and that your computer might be like, this seems like malware, which it's not. I have played this game. I have had 0 infections from malware. It's just whoever did this, whoever made this for Windows 10 did not do nearly a good enough job. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt to get it on Windows 10 if that's the platform you're playing it on, but it's $3.19 and it is a remake of a classic game where, if you don't know, I wish I had the footage, but you have this grappling arm, and so you can't jump. All you can do is grapple and shoot. And you just grapple and shoot your way through every single level, take down the enemy, and then go to the next stage. It is classic platforming fun. It's $3.19. If you're comfortable with that cracked EXE business, then yes, it's going to work perfectly. Also, feel free to hit me up. If you buy this game and you're like, I couldn't find that cracked EXE, where is it? I have a copy of it. I will send it to you if need be. This game is so much fun, and if you enjoyed playing the original on the NES and really want to play this, it's a good price, and I will do what I can to help you get it installed, because it was a pain in the butt. I went a couple of years without playing this game because I couldn't get it to work in Windows 10, but I've got it sorted now, and it's better. So, with a big ol' asterisk, it is Bionic Commando Rearmed at $3.19. Up next is Blade Assault. Blade Assault is a 2D pixel art, side-scrolling, roguelike platformer. All of those things. All of those many things. You build up your character over time. I believe it's roguelite-ish, that you do get to keep your progress as some of your progress as you go. And there's a lot of really interesting ways to build up your character, and it gets very, very fun over time. You're seeing this guy who is the melee brawler sort of guy. There are other characters that you can play as. I did not play as him. I played as the girl, who has ranged weapons, which is a very different experience than what you're seeing here. But yeah, this game right here, the Blade Assault. Here, let's see if it shows it with actual blades, because, you know, it's called Blade Assault. Let's see someone get assaulted with a blade. Shall we? Yeah, there's the guy. And there's the girl there. And there's, shooty and slashy, and all the different other things that you can do with all of your different other weapons and the upgrades and things. Yep, it's a whole deal. And this is but a mere $3.59. It's 80% off. Bleed is an action shooty platformer sort of a deal. That's a little twin sticky in the way that you shoot, and it also has a slowing down time mechanic. It was kind of hard for me to learn. Other people are much better at this game than I am. But it is very fun, and it is really well done. There is also a Bleed 2, which you can get together as a bundle. But yeah, look at all that shooty time-slowing mayhem. $2.50 for just the Bleed 1. If you get both, it's $6.36. So yeah, do what you like, but I can tell you that Bleed is very fun, very well done. It gets exceptionally frantic, but that's why you've got that time slowing mechanic that makes it all a little more manageable. Unless you're me, in which case you're not great at it, but you still enjoy the game. BroForce. BroForce is one of the silliest gooses on Steam. This game, for real. So basically, they have taken every action movie hero ever and have put them in the same game. And every one of these guys plays different. And so the guy that you get is random. So different levels are better for different bros. And the bro that you get might not be the bro that you want. And it just becomes your responsibility to bro it up as big as you can with whichever bros you happen to get. The sense of humor in this game is hilarious. Now, this is not what the gameplay actually looks like. That's just the... Show me gameplay footage, for crying out loud. Show me gameplay. Come on, BroForce. Gameplay. The gameplay, well, I guess someone is, showing it right here. But the environments are 100% destructible. And so and this is Rambro, they all have their names changed to have some form of bro in there. This is very hilarious, very silly, and it's such a fun game. Great one to play with friends because you can play it multiplayer. It is but a mere $2.99 and highly recommended if you have never played it. Up next, we have Caladrius Blaze. I'm pretty sure that is exactly how the girl says it in this game. This is a bullet hell shooter in which you play as this anime girl who, that's what she looks like. Show me gameplay footage. I demand it. It's a bullet hell shooter. If you could just go ahead and show me the footage and not show me girl with her clothes coming off. Which is a part of the game, by the way. Just you need to be aware of that. But yes, as your character gets shot up, it's funny because it is her clothes that are most affected and not her ship as much. So that works. Somebody's really good at shooting off clothes. But yeah, it's very, very bullet helly. I wish that they were showing gameplay footage instead of, what they are showing, but you can upgrade your ship over time. There we go. That's what gameplay footage looks like. See, they're both getting torn up, both you and the enemy ship. Yeah, and then there are cutscenes and all of that business, boss battles, all of the standard things that you would expect in a game like this. And it's very fun. I mean, yes, the fan service is very much there and cannot be denied. But yeah, if you can endure the fan service or enjoy the fan service, as the case may be, the game is $3.99 and a really, really good shooter. Call of Juarez Gunslinger. This is a really good open worldish old west shooty shoot type of game, your first person shooter type of game. Comparisons to the Red Dead Redemption series are unavoidable at this point. But yeah, this game is at least as old as the first Red Dead Redemption game, if not predating it slightly. Don't quiz me on that because I don't know exactly. But it is, yeah, very bloody and gory and whatnot. All the things that you like in a good first-person shooter. And it has actual Old West outlaws. And the whole thing is told as a story by the main character who is experiencing it as it's happening, as he's telling the story. And the funny thing about it is that, like, if you don't listen to the narrator, he will get impatient with you because, I was exploring a little much, and he's like, I said it's time to turn tail and run. And then you got to turn tail and run. But yeah, Call of Juarez Gunslinger. This is the best of the Call of Juarez games, and it is but a mere $2.99. Is there a bundle? Yes, there is. $6.27 gets you the trilogy of the Call of Juarez games. But like I said, this is the best one, so if you only want to buy one, this is the one to get. Up next, I had to do it, Castle Crashers. Sure, you will see this one in a lot of other people's videos. It is not far off the beaten path. Some of the games I try and focus on are off the beaten path. That's what I try to do. But this one is such a classic. It's so fun. It's so funny. You gotta play it. You just gotta. And, you know, the art style, the sense of humor, the, jittery video that skips when I sneezed in the middle and edited that sneeze out so you didn't have to listen to it. You're welcome. But yeah, it's just such a silly, fun game, and it's really, really a good time. My son and I have played this multiple times together. It's one of the games we like to play together. It's fun. It's a good time. It's very fun in multiplayer, and so it is highly recommended, especially at its low price of $4.49. And there's bundles and whatnot. You can get, the Battle Block Theater, which is another game by the same developer. I've not played that one. It's been on the list of things that I should do for a while, but never have. There's Pit People. That's another game I don't know. But normally they have the 4-pack of, like, buy some... Oh my God. I did not know that Alien Hominid, which has gotten so hard to find, that I'm discovering this right now. Alien Hominid, so hard to find physical copies of this game anymore, at least where I am. I don't know, like, if where you are, you just find them all the time. I don't. I do not have a physical copy of this game, and I would love to have it. But yeah, because it was released on lots of different things. GameCube, original Xbox. There was a Game Boy Advance version, if I remember correctly. This is on a whole bunch of things. But yeah, this might be one of my pickups during this Steam sale is Alien Hominid, because love that game. Anyway, regardless, what was I saying? $4.49. Yeah, Castle Crashers. It's a classic, and I wish they had a 4-pack because that is the ideal way to play it. Anyway, really fun game and highly recommended by everyone, including me. And now we got to talk about Cat Quest. I bought this one on a little bit of a speculative purchase. Bought it for my daughter for her birthday a few years back. And ended up getting it for everyone in the family. We have all played this and enjoyed it. All of us. Yeah, I'm looking at you. We have all played and enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm the one talking into the microphone, therefore I can say that with authority. But yeah, it is standard action RPG. There's a ton of weapons and pickups and unlockables, and your character progresses over time with XP and whatnot. Um, all of the caves and things that you can go in tell you what level you need to be before you go in. So it's a very like for an action RPG, it's very user friendly. If you are too, I don't know, ridiculous about not wanting a game that holds your hand that much, if you're not down with a game that's going to be that user friendly, well, I'm sorry. Like, it is extremely user friendly, but it's also almost unbearably cute. And if you're a cat person like I am, it is too much. It's so much fun. Now, Cat Quest 2 is very much the same deal. Cat Quest 2 is just like Cat Quest, only more so, and with co-op, because there's now the dog character. So you leave the Catpital. Oh, get ready for so many cat-based puns. But yeah, the Cat Quest 2 is just more and more of the same wonderful action RPG gameplay that the first one provided, but with the a better ability to play local co-op. I don't know if it has online co-op. Definitely has local. Know that for sure. But yeah, very, very fun games. You can get them individually for like $4.94. You can get them in a bundle for $8.30. I highly recommend both games. So feel free to pick up the bundle if you like, or just pick up the first one. Or pick up the second one only because you're going to play it co-op. I don't know. You do you. But I'm telling you, these games are so much more than meets the eye. So very fun. And I have put a reasonable amount of time into these games. I've beaten the first one twice. I haven't beaten the second one yet, but I'm going to. Very good games and highly recommended. And they're $4.49 a piece, or you can get them for $8 in the bundle. I could scroll down and look, but did I tell you that I'm sick? I'm like coughing and dying between each and every take, each and every game that I highlight. I have to pause and be like, blah, 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 dying. Anyway, so I'm doing my best here, people, doing my best. Anyway. Yeah, Cat Quest and Cat Quest 2. Up next is one of the most immersive and beloved indie games ever. Like, this one goes way back. When did this come out? 2011. Yeah, see, goes back quite a ways. Anyway, this game, Cave Story, is so fantastically interesting. It is, Metroidvania style gameplay, but it's also action, platformer, exploration, world with lots of lore, so many things to do, so many interesting places to explore. Obviously, there are boss battles, as you can see there, a lot of other things to do in the game. Very, very fun. I found it thoroughly immersive as an experience. This is one of those games that you just really should experience at some point. It is $3.74. Now, there are some games which, no matter how many other people are going to be including them on their list, you have to include it on yours because it's just so good. Yeah, it's a game about climbing a mountain, allegedly. Allegedly. That's a terrible pun. Anyway, regardless, it's not a mistake, Celeste. It's a really good game. So this is a tough as nails platformer, which when I say that to people, a lot of people tell me like, oh, I didn't find it that hard. And then I say, well, did you get every strawberry? And they're like, oh, no, I didn't. And I'm like, yeah, That's because this game can be as difficult as you like it to be. If you want to get every achievement, if you want to do every little thing, it can be actually quite difficult. But again, it is one of the greatest indie games ever made. It's a very immersive world. It's a lesson truly in how to do video game storytelling and build up a world full of lore without ever weighing down your player and having to just read through bunches of stuff or watch cutscene after cutscene without ever feeling like they're actually playing. No, this is how you do it. This is legitimately how you do it. Such a great game. Must be played. It is $4.99. Champions of Breakfast. Now, I do not remember what originally compelled me to buy this game because it is so silly. It's a shooter. It gets bullet hellish at times. It is, very, very interesting and extremely frantic in its later stages. And it's breakfast foods and household objects. It's weird that way. Yes, shoot up the boss bathtub or the lamp. It's all the characters you know and love from Brave Little Toaster, only they're fighting each other with laser bullets and whatnot. It's a very weird, very silly game, but it's $2.39. My son plays this a lot, and he really likes it. I have played it not as much as he has, but I still really like it. It's a really fun game and very interesting, if nothing else. Child of Light is another game I always seem to recommend, and that is because this game is a beautiful experience. Thanks, Ubisoft. You don't always give us the best things, but sometimes you do, and this is one of those. Because look at the beautiful watercolor styled artwork of this game, and understand that, this is a journey about a child learning about death, and I'm not going to give too much of it away by telling you too much of what happens in the story, but it's an immersive experience, and it also is totally RPG style. And when you get into the RPG style stuff, it becomes turn-based. And so that's really fascinating, because for everything else that this game is, you wouldn't think that it's also turn-based combat and whatnot, but it totally is. It's so many things. And it's so beautiful and so well done and such a great story. And it is $4.49. Child of Light. I always recommend it, but that's for a reason. It seems this year I'm including a lot of games with fan service, and Code of Princess is definitely one of those. Because this game, peace has ended, and now the princess is going to go around in her not very much clothes. And she doesn't ever put on more, really. She just rocking that, Princess Leia slave type outfit, just the bare minimum of coverage of body parts, let alone armor. Very Ghibli and jubbly and whatnot. A lot of characters to add to your party, and then you get to decide how to use them. So it's got those RPG elements, but the actual gameplay is very hack and slash beat 'em up, and so it's got a lot of action, but it's got a decent amount of strategy too. And if you like the fan service, well, I guess you won't complain about that, because the Jubblies are Ghibli in this game for sure. And that is very much intentional. But it's $2.99, a really good price on a very fun game. Now, I know that there are many Command & Conquer games, but Command & Conquer Red Alert 3 is the one that I have. And it's very, very good. EA Sports. It's communism. Anyway, but yeah, it's got Tim Curry in it. That's freaking Tim Curry, Dr. Frankenfurter. You know the guy. Anyway, this game isn't going to show actual gameplay footage. No, it's going to show all the cutscene footage. Show the actual gameplay, dingus. There was a time, and it was not so very long ago, where regular people, if you can believe it, used to play RTSs. Back in the days of the first, StarCraft game. Come on, give me gameplay footage. Oh, okay, give me pictures of gameplay footage. I guess that's going to have to suffice. But yeah, back in the day, regular people were much more capable of playing RTSs. And it's not that regular people are less capable now. It's that RTSs have begun to focus almost entirely on the professional players and have neglected those of us who are not pros at it. And the Command and Conquer games, especially the Red Alert variants, were just fun. They were just built around the idea that, like, hey, you can play an RTS and have fun. And indeed you can. It's $4.99. And if you like RTSs and you yearned for the good old days of, games not just being made for the professional players who are much, 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 much better at it than the rest of us, Command and Conquer Red Alert 3. It's a really fun game. What? Is he going 2 RTSs in a row? Yeah, I am. Yep, that's right. Company of Heroes 2. There's a ton of DLC for this game, but you can just play the regular version of it. And it's, show me all the things. No, show me actual gameplay. There we go. Yeah, this is a really good one because, you have all the strategy of lining your guys up on the battlefield and telling them where to go and what to do. And then, all of these period correct, guns and tanks and vehicles of various types. Very, very cool. And yeah, you can really zoom in and see like a almost third person experience of what people are going through as they are on the battlefield. Or you can zoom out and RTS it up as much as you want. So it really gives you a variety in how to experience the gameplay. And I found it to be extremely fun and much more of the variety. See, it's 10 years old now. Where are the games being made like this now? Maybe there are some. Tell me about them. I don't know. Don't assume that I'm the master of all RTSs because I am not. I reviewed an RTS once and people hated my gameplay footage so much it became my most unliked video ever, and I took it down as a result and just felt bad about myself. So, yeah. The lesson, as always, is if you're going to review an RTS, just know that people are going to be very passionate about it. They are a very passionate group of people. Anyway, Company of Heroes 2, very fun, and it can be had for just $3.50. Okay, now we're getting serious. Cosmic Star Heroine. This game right here. This comes from Zeboyd Games, the makers of Breath of Death 7, Cthulhu Saves the World, Cthulhu Saves Christmas. These are some people who understand classic RPGs. They understand those 8-bit ones, and this is the 16-bit. This will feel, if you have ever played and enjoyed a really good RPG on the SNES, on that Super Nintendo, it will feel very, very familiar, even though it is very much updated and there are a lot of things that you could never pull off on the Super Nintendo. But yeah, this game is just so incredibly well made, and I made it a personal project to purchase every single Zeboyd game that is available. It's not that many games, and they are all on sale right now, as far as I know. And yeah, you certainly could do much worse. This game, if you like classic RPGs, you really do owe it to yourself to play this one because it is so incredibly well made. Great story, great characters, great level design, great bosses. Amazing everything about it. It's just, you could tell these guys from Zeboyd, they have played the classics to death, and they know how to make something that feels like that. And when they do the Cthulhu Saves, they also did Cthulhu Saves Christmas, like Cthulhu Saves the World, games like that. When they're, they're sillier games, you can tell that they know how to be very tongue-in-cheek about old school RPGs because they understand it, because that is their passion. And this one is just so good. I cannot tell you enough. Cosmic Star Heroine. If you like 16-bit RPGs, you have to play this. It is $3.74, and I love this game. I am continually surprised by which games do not have video footage. Costume Quest. Costume Quest is an awesome little RPG. You play as these kids on Halloween night who are going out to get their candy, and they are dead serious about it. But there's these, let's see if I can find them. You're going to encounter other kids who are terrible and mean to you and whatnot. You're going to encounter these aliens who are trying to take over the world by luring people inside their house on Halloween and taking them captive and whatnot. And when you go to battle, here's the beauty of it. So, like, your dude will look like this in his little costume, but then you get, when it's battle time, you get what his brain is imagining, that beautiful childlike imagination. And so those battles become these epic, massive turn-based things. And yes, there is a Costume Quest 2. And look at this, $3.19 for Costume Quest 1. How much does it cost to get the bundle? $3.99? Just 80 cents more to get both games? Yeah, they're both really good, and I recommend both of them. Now, before I tell you about Crypt of the Necrodancer, here's what you need to know. I don't like rhythm games. It's not that I don't have rhythm, it's just that making rhythm feels like work. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't feel like I'm having fun when I'm playing a rhythm game most of the time. But Crypt of the Necrodancer is that special blend of dungeon crawly RPG and rhythm game. What? How? Well, as you can see, there is a constant beat going with the game, and you have to move on the beat. Yes, you can play with your own MP3s. I don't suggest it. But it's a really funny and fun game. It's very fun to play. It's reasonably hard. It presents a decent challenge. And when we first start playing it, you're going to have a hard time, like, getting on top of it and getting that feel right away. But the learning curve is actually quite shallow. It doesn't take that long for you to figure out, like, okay, here's how to stay on the beat and also attack people and pick up loot. Crypt of the Necrodancer, it is $2.99. There's DLC for it up the wazoo, tons of stuff that you can do with it. But if you just want the base game, which is plenty of fun, it is $2.99, which is a really good deal. Darkest Dungeon. This is a game that some people love and some people hate. Go to hell? No. Oh. Anyway, basically, you are the heir of someone who brought a great evil upon the land, and you're kind of trying to make it right. And so you and your party go into the deepest dungeon. Now, as you go through, you have to maintain your party's sanity. They will go insane and start behaving completely uncontrollably if you don't manage everything as you should. The thing that drives people crazy about this is that the RNG for it is so high. Like, it is so randomized. This is so roguelike-ish in the original meaning of the term, that you could go from a room where you handled yourself quite well into a room where you just get massacred immediately. And people hate that. So if you don't like that kind of thing, maybe this one is not for you. But if you like a really good challenge, because this game is a challenge, it's super cool, and the art style is really awesome, and it's really hard. But it's very fun and very well done. It is $4.99. All right, Devious Dungeon 2. I love these Devious Dungeon games. I bought the first one during one of my budget stravaganza things, which means I got it for less than $1. And you will see the first game on one of these lists. But yeah, this version, the Devious Dungeon 2, adds some new character types, and yes, different abilities. And this is roguelite, so you are keeping a lot of the character progression that you make. So this game is very much like the first one, only more so. There's just more to do, more upgrades, more rooms, more types of loot, more things that you can do in this dungeon that is increasingly devious, even more so than the first one. The thing I love about these games is that they just feel good. You know, I've said it before, I will say it again. You know how when you're playing Panic Restaurant and you're playing it in emulation because you, like me, were like, $100, I'm not going to pay that much, and now it's like $700 for an original copy. But yeah, you play Panic Restaurant in emulation, and one of the most satisfying things is the coin drop. Sorry, I didn't get all the coughs. Anyway, the coin drops in this game are immensely satisfying, as it is in the first one. Just feels good to play. Highly recommended. If you like roguelikes, if you like dungeon crawlers, this is going to be right up your alley. It is $3.19 and very fun. Okay, let's talk Disgaea games. Now, the more recent the Disgaea game, the more expensive it's going to be. 47, I can't afford that yet. I still can't afford that yet. That's getting into my range. Ooh, there we go. But look down here, Disgaea 1 and Disgaea 2. You can ignore Phantom Brave. I mean, no, there are people who like it. It's not as good as the Disgaea games, in my humble opinion, but it's still a very good game from the same developer. But the Disgaea games, Disgaea 1 and Disgaea 2, they are $3.99 a piece. And they are so very much fun. Here's the rundown on this game. You are the child of the ruler of hell who gets put to sleep for 1,000 years, and you're supposed to take over hell, but like somebody does it when you're gone. Anyway, yeah. Isn't that a little overkill? It certainly is. Anyway, let me just say this. Greatest tactical RPG series ever made. Again, the greatest tactical RPG series ever. Hands down. No questions. This is the best one. You get these awesome turn-based battlefields in which there are so many factors that you have to be thinking about, and different ways that you have to approach each different battlefield with some serious strategy. And the beautiful thing is, the printies, you you get to create your own minions and underlings, and then level them up. And it makes it really, really interesting because you can grow very attached to characters over time, and then you remember, like, wait, I built that character. Like, that's all me. I put them together, I leveled them up, I made this happen, and now I'm very attached to this character and want them to stay alive very much. Yeah, it's just, I'm telling you, it is the greatest strategy RPG series ever. It just is. It just is. So if you've never played Disgaea before, Disgaea 1 is $3.99. Disgaea 2 also $3.99. If you've already got those, Disgaea 3 is $9.99. Disgaea 4 is $13.99. Disgaea 5, 6, and 7 a little less manageable price-wise, but they'll come down in time. They're just so good. It's the best. It's the best at what it does, and highly recommended. Now, depending on how it's done, stealth. Why am I showing that image first? It started the screen. It started rolling through the screenshots before I was ready, and that's what came up first. Anyway, I'm not always a massive fan of stealth-based games, because they can be really, like, I don't know. Sometimes they mess with you a little much, and I hate, like, sneaking all the way to the end of a level and then, getting seen by the last guy, and then you have to do the whole thing over again. Like, it's a real pain in the butt when they make it too ham-fisted with the stealth elements. Dishonored, which, like, why is there not actual gameplay footage? Yeah, see, beautiful game. Really, really beautiful game. Very well done. And yes, some ladies and whatnot. Very, like, weirdly steampunky, dystopian, weird sort of a world, but very extremely fun. You get framed for murdering the queen or kidnapping her, or one of the two. I forget which. It's been a minute since I played it. But yeah, you get framed for a crime you didn't commit, and then you become the biggest outlaw in all the land. But luckily, you are basically a freaking ninja. And so, yeah, if you enjoy stealth-based, assassin-y type games, this is what you're looking for. Very, very fun. And it is $2.49. That's fantastic. If you want the definitive edition, it is still under $5, and it gives you a ton of DLC. So yeah, either way, very much recommended. Now, video games give you all sorts of different reasons for playing them. Crushing the bad guys, racking up the highest score, getting the most kills, finding the most gems, whatever it may be. And then there are games like Dreaming Sarah, which is an experience. It's a Metroidvania game that is quite weird in a lot of places and will leave you wondering exactly what's going on a lot of the time. But it's such an experience. It's a really, really fascinating experience to go through this game. And so it's not at all about, like, can you beat up the bad guys and can you get the highest score? It's, can you solve a few puzzles on your way through having this really, really interesting experience? Not all of which you're necessarily going to understand right away. It's an immersive game, and you have to kind of take it on its own terms, which is, it might be one of the reasons why it's not more popular. I mean, very positively reviewed. People who take a chance on this game do not regret it, typically. So yeah, it's a really good game, and if you're looking for something different to play, it is Metroidvania, like I said, but it's also all about the experience of being in this world and finding your way around, much more than it is about, crushing the bad guys or meeting some, clear and definite objective. It's a lot of wandering and figuring things out. Yeah, a very satisfying game, and it is $3.59. Enter the Gungeon is a very much beloved roguelike. It's an action roguelike. It is a bullet hell, twin sticky type of an experience that is really, really intense. It's also very silly and funny and fun to play, but it's also a reasonably good challenge. So it's got a lot to it. And if you're the sort of person who enjoys a good challenge and likes making the shoots, well, enter the Gungeon. There's a reason why so many people love this game, and so many people have been talking about it for the last how many years? Let's find out. 2016, 7 years. Yeah, better part of a decade. So, yeah, there's a reason why people love this one. It's a Devolver Digital game. They only put out good stuff, far as I know. Pretty much. I don't have any Devolver Digital stuff that I don't love, so I'm just assuming that they only do good stuff. But yeah, it is $4.49 for the Enter the Gungeon. Up next, we've got Fez. Fez is another indie darling from those early years, the 2011, 12, 13 of indie gaming, right? When a lot of these indie games were first showing that an independently made game could have a big audience and that a lot of people could really like it. Now, if you're looking at the gameplay footage and you're thinking, that reminds me of like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker or Crush, which is a really good game on the PSP, and a slightly less good game on the DS, on the 3DS. Yeah, I am biased. The PSP version of Crush is better. But yeah, this is one of those rotate the world around and try and find your way puzzle type platformers. And so if you like those kind of games, this is kind of the granddaddy of the genre. And it is $4.99 and so well made. So very well made. All right, For the King. This is one that I played recently. Reviewed it fairly recently on the channel. Yes, over 3 million of us have honed our skills. This is a really good game in which you are tactically, strategically RPGing your way through a vast world, and you're doing it for the king. Yeah, that's right. And there's just so many different ways that you can build your characters up, and so many different enemy types, and such a vast, interesting world. It's a really, really good game, and there's also a lot of DLC for it too. So, if you want it, there it is, $4.99 for the King. For the King 2 is out now. I haven't played it yet. I assume it is also quite good. But I can't give you my actual recommendation because I have not yet played it. So, there you go. For the King. Okay, Freedom Finger. Before first of all, yes, that is a giant flying middle finger ship. And that's what you play as in this game, if you did not know. Some of you are like, yes, I know about this game, and it's awesome. But, yeah, very positive. A lot of awesome people. Nolan North, John DiMaggio, who you know from Futurama and Adventure Time and everything. He's in everything. It's like really good soundtrack, Aesop Rock, Trues, Ty Segall, like a lot of... I've always wondered, is it Seagal or Siegel? I don't know, because I don't want to say it like that Seagal fella who is such a terrible person, if that's not how it's pronounced. And I think, Steven Seagal might be the only one who's like, it's Seagal, it's not Siegel. Anyway, but this is a horizontal scrolling bullet hell type shooter that is just absurd. It's, yeah, there you go. It's kind of like Cuphead, except for like if Cuphead were way weirder and less, yeah, I know, way weirder and less, reverent, because it is completely irreverent because you are a giant flying middle finger who can also punch things, and it's so funny and fun. It's just really, really good. A ton of very talented people came together on this one. It's $3.91 and a very, very good pickup. Okay, when it comes to harping on games that not enough people play, Guacamelee. This is the Super Hyper Ultra Turbo Championship Gold Mega Ultra Awesome Super Cool Edition. But yeah, in this game, you play as a luchador, and everything in this game is like combo based, and there's a dark world and a light world, and you're constantly flipping back between dark and light, and it changes the way that the world appears, and you have to be doing some really, really intense precision platforming, and there's a ton of unlockables, and the sense of humor in this game is the best, and it just feels so good. Like, it's such a good representation, an interesting representation of Mexican culture, that not enough people know about, and it's really awesome. If you have not played this game, this is one that I'm always harping on. Now, you can get the Guacamelee and the Guacamelee 2 for not that much more. So yeah, it's a really, really good, like, you can buy everything Drinkbox did, which Drinkbox, didn't they do all of those other games that you like? They sure did. Probably. Seems like. Uh Wait, didn't they? Never mind. I thought they did a different game. But they did games that I like. Mainly, they did Guacamelee, and I love this game, and I want more people to play it. So, if you can spare the $3.74, which by this point we're well over an hour in, and I'm sorry and I apologize. Hey, it's taking it out on me more than it's taking it out on you, because in between every game, I am like coughing and hacking up a lung and sneezing and drinking water. And it's, yeah, I'm laboring to get to the end of this. But anyway, I love this game. I want more people to love this game. See, very positive, but not enough people. This should be, oh yeah, it's Metroidvania too. That's an important thing that I should say. Such a beautifully made game, and I love it. Very hard, though. Well, very hard if you want to get all the things and do all the stuff, which I do, and I did, and it was hard. But very fun and very rewarding. Okay, so here we are in the under $5 category, and I'm showing you a game that's 99 cents. Why? Well, that's actually very simple, because I want to sell you on the Half-Life bundle, because it is $3.94, and if you don't have all of this Half-Life content, you should get this Half-Life content, because the original game, Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, fantastic. Source, certain improvements. Also, there was just an anniversary update. Also, Team Fortress Classic. Also, Opposing Force, Blue Shift, which you should play after you play Half-Life 1. Really, really cool games that I loved greatly when I played them for the first time, these many years ago. It's been longer than I care to think about. But these are some of the greatest first-person shooters ever made. And you can get a butt ton of them for $3.94. So I will recommend do that. Also, if you wanted to get the orange box because you were like, hey, what about the orange box instead? Well, that also will get you lots of things, but that will get you the Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Episode 2, Portal, and TF2. So, yeah, you could do that too. I don't mind. However you get your Half-Life, however you're going to get this game, but it is something that I cannot recommend enough, because even if you're not a first-person shooter player, the experience of this game is so important to the history of gaming, not just to the history of FPSs, but certainly to the history of FPSs. But also the reason, when you say something is important historically, that doesn't always, sometimes it's like, oh, so it's like a history lesson. No. It's super fun. It's historically fun. It is fun in a way that, like, even though the graphics are not as amazing as they were when I played it for the first time, still does not matter, does not diminish the gameplay, which is amazing. Anyway, so yeah, get you some Half-Life in bundle form, or just buy it individually. It's super cheap. But I put it in here for the bundle, which is under $5. Iron Crypticle. Oh man, what a fun game. Iron Crypticle is a twin stick shooter dungeon crawler that is tons of loot, tons of like roguelike-ish character development, or like character build up, and you just go through these dungeons and you're just blasting people away. Before Vampire Survivors, this was the deal. Like, now granted, it's not exactly like Vampire Survivors, don't get me wrong. But unlike Vampire Survivors, which like I can pick up, get very excited about for a little while, and then be like, ugh, and put it away for a while, Iron Crypticle and its sister game Iron Fisticle, I can't not love them. This game is very much like its predecessor, only it has more like the 4-player co-op that you can play in, and more bosses, more rooms, more power-ups, more everything. And so it's just a really, really fun game, and it is $2.49. Just Cause 3. Now, the Just Cause series has long been known to be kind of a ripoff of GTA, yeah, whatever. But here's the thing about it, is that for as long as these games have existed, their entire deal has been like, hey, I wonder if we could take one of those like midsummer popcorn action blockbuster type movies and turn that into a video game where you can like, be paragliding and then grab the tail of a jet and then like jump inside the jet and punch the pilot and then take over the jet, and then fly the jet to a boat and then just jump out and then land on the boat. Like all of the stupid action sequences where you've been like, oh my God, that would never happen. You can do that in this game. It is the perfection of the Just Cause formula. And I've known a lot of people who have been like, yeah, you don't even have to do the missions, because there's GTA-styled missions. There are people who just play this as a massive open-world sandbox where you can just do random crap no matter what you want. You can just make your own action movie, and that's super much fun. And this game is $2.99. Now, if you get this XXL edition, you're going to get a butt ton of added content, and that's $6.24. Just Cause 2 has an obscene amount of DLC, which is why this is so expensive if you buy all 3 of them. Yeah. DLC is the name of the game in these games, but you can have a great time without the DLC, because I did. I absolutely did. Anyway, Just Cause 3. Metal Unit. Now, this game is, says it's RPG-ish. It does have some RPG style leveling, but it is mostly action platform, kill all the baddies type of business. Give you that old school Metroid feeling. Except for there is a kind of silly amount of fan service in this game. Yeah, if you want that pixel-based fan service, like anytime you hit the pause screen, you'll see what I mean. Because otherwise, the girl is just in the suit. But yeah, ton of different ways that you can level up, ton of different weapons you can unlock. Yeah, you see there that when she was grabbing herself, yeah, that's what you see every time you pause the game. So there's there's some fan service in this game for sure, but more than that, like, it is a really, really fun game. A lot of hack and slashy, shooty Metroid style action, that's just a lot of fun and really well done. And it is $2.99. Yeah, I'm just realizing there was a guy who commented before about, like, hey, you use a lot of the same descriptions of games. By this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm over an hour in, over an hour and 15 in. Jeez, will this one never end? So my apologies to anyone who makes it to the very end of this. But yeah, I do run out of different descriptions by the end of these videos. They are taxing, and this one especially so, because I'm sick. Pity me. I pity me. Moonlighter. Moonlighter is a really great indie game. 11-bit studios, there you go. So you play as this kid who lives in this world where, like, you know, there's this massive dungeon that everybody is trying to loot, and you are also trying to do that, but you run a store. So here's what you have to figure out. You have to balance out how to go down into the dungeon, get the loot that you need, and then figure out which parts to sell and which parts to keep so that you can go get even more loot the next day. And it's these day-night cycles where you are exploring the dungeon by night and running a store by day. And yeah, you can't keep all the loot because you need to sell stuff to keep the store running, but you can't sell all the loot because you need some of it so that you can kill the increasingly difficult monsters and stuff that you're going to come across in the game. It's just really well balanced in that way, and you have to make some really good decisions. It is $2.99 at 85% off. I don't think it's been that cheap before. I could be wrong, but it's a really good game. Platypus. Platypus is a classic clay-based shooter. Yeah, you heard that right. Look at that. It's clay. It's all clay. This game came out a long old time ago, but it has been a cult classic the entire time. Now, some may be tempted to call this a cute 'em up, but don't kid yourself. It is a pretty difficult little game, even though everything is made out of clay, and you're Roger ramjetting. Now, there's a reference. Does anybody get that one? Jeez. Going back to Wallace and Ladmo for that. Anyway, regardless, find out if you were watching public access television in Arizona in the 1980s as a child. That's what we're going to learn about you today. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful game. Very much beloved by the many people who have played this. Yeah, 2004. It is almost 20 years old, people. And yet it is still a really, really fun game. It is $2.50 for a classic. So, the teacher that I taught next to for years and years and years insisted for the longest time. He's like, you have to play Psychonauts. It's my favorite game. And I was like, oh, well, I have so many games, blah, 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 blah. Like, this game is fantastic. There's a reason why it is so universally beloved. And aside from it being, quite weird, which is unavoidable, it is really funny, really fun, and a great, great adventure. You're a psychonaut. You're going into people's brains and exploring their memories and rooting out traumatic experiences and whatnot. It's a really fascinating game. And the characters are great, and everything about this game is awesome. Yeah, my friend was not wrong to insist upon this one. So yeah, it's $3.19. So yeah, another really good classic that you can pick up at a reasonable price. Road to Ballhalla. Road to Ballhalla is a simple game. You just get the ball to where it needs to go. Yeah. Why would you enter a hole that says do not enter? Yeah, the game gets fiendishly difficult as you go along. As you can see, like you make it through those first couple of levels and you're like, oh, this game ain't nothing. And then it ramps up considerably pretty darn quick. And yeah, you've got to make some decisions. You've got to have some very precise movements as this labyrinthine game it gets very difficult very quickly. And yeah, the haha that you saw there, yes, it will actively make fun of you for not playing it well, which is mean because the game gets increasingly harder as you go along. Anyway, if you like that kind of really tough puzzle type platforming stuff, this game is really good. It's very well done, and it is $2.99. The question every year is this: will this be the year that I don't give someone roof rage for Christmas? Because I've given this game to so many people. Because this game is so, so good. This is obviously it looks a lot like Smash Bros. That's what you're thinking. Yep, very similar concept, except you have all these different types of martial artists with their own special moves and the own special things that they do. And yeah, my son and I play this together. It's one of the games that we really enjoy. It is immediately engaging. It is incredibly fun. And the characters, even though there's not a spoken word in the entire game, there is so much character in these pixel-based characters, and there is, so much life and so much fun. It's a super great game. Oh yeah, there's all the combos and whatnot. You just saw how to do it. So now you know how to play the game. You might as well get it. It's $3.74, which is the standard price at this time of year at 75% off. I cannot recommend it enough. This game is super fun. If you like 2D fighters at all, buy this. Sleeping Dogs, rated M for mature. Yeah, it's got all those things in it. Yeah, it's reminds me a bit of the Yakuza games for obvious reasons that you will see and understand immediately. This was a gem on the PS3 back in the day, and it is still a very, very good looking and fun game to play. A lot of beat 'em up type of stuff, a lot of keep your dude alive while trying to take out all the enemies. Yeah, action-packed thing that has a ton of story and a lot of different things that you can do in game. Pretty big world, decent sandboxiness. So yeah, if you like GTA style games or Yakuza style games and you haven't played this one yet, it's really good. And it is $2.99. Streets of Fury EX. Every time I think about this game, I'm like, man, what a great idea. Look at this. Look at this. You see what this is? This is like the development team putting themselves in the game. And so all of the characters are actual real screen captured humans, and it makes it so fun and so funny. This game has so much heart and so much character, and you can tell that the people who made it just had a ball making it. And so, yeah, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up adventure, and yeah, you can play it co-op. Very much fun, and it is $3.99. It's one of those games where when I played it for the first time, I was like, man, I can't believe somebody thought of this. This is such a good idea. Everything about this, they execute it perfectly. Perfectly. It's like the right amount of silly and the right amount of serious and the right amount of really good controls and the right amount of like really dumb special moves and whatnot. Like, just, it's perfect. It's exactly what it should be. And I love this game. So yeah, absolutely. You can try the demo or you can get it for $3.99. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there, friends. So if you're old like me, you remember when anime wasn't all like, I'm a teenager with teenage problems, but I must also fight down an endless horde of insert the following zombies, werewolves, vampires, demons, ghosts, etc. Like, I got them teenage problems, but I gotta punch all these demons too. You know, that's a lot of the anime that the kids these days watch, which is not a bad thing. Like, a lot of really good shows. But when I was growing up, it was all about giant fighting robots. And that's what this game is. Giant fighting robots. So you have this ship that is very much like a Gundam. The comparison is unavoidable. You can switch back and forth. You can get different ship unlocks and unlockables. You can power up the ship as you go through, and there's a whole storyline and whatnot. There are parts of the game that I wish were deeper and a little better. It's not a perfect game, but I'm always on the lookout for really good mecha style games. And this is a pretty darn good mecha style game. You can see not very many people have played it, which is unfortunate because it is fun and it is good and it is worth owning. Are there better things out there? Yeah, they just cost a lot more. Trust me, I have my wish list for mecha style games. Those games are expensive and they stay in my wish list for a long time waiting for those prices to come down. Anyway, you can get this one for just a penny under $5. $4.99 if you're not good with math. Sundered Eldritch Edition is a Roguevania. You got roguelite in my Metroidvania. You got Metroidvania in my roguelite. That's what it is. From the creators of Jotun, which is a really cool game, and I don't know why I don't have it on the list. This is probably on sale. It very often is. Anyway, so yeah, maybe check out Jotun if you think this looks cool. But this is an action beat 'em up hack and slash Metroidvania style game that is reasonably difficult and has that beautiful art style that this developer is known for. Because if you've ever seen Jotun, you'll know that, like, oh, that's a beautiful game. It's got that hand-drawn, like, Don Bluthie. Wait, are these the same people who make Banner Saga? Thunder Lotus. Hold up. I must know. Oh, they make Spiritfarer. That is a very popular game that I have not played yet. I hear nothing but good things, but that is a really good price on Spiritfarer. Jotun, yeah, also under $5. Yeah. So not from the makers of the Banner Saga, but still in a style that just reminds me of Don Bluth for some reason. $4.99 for a really good game. Super Panda Adventures, because, classic platformery business. It says Metroidvania. I don't remember how much that is true. I don't remember this game being a Metroidvania, but maybe it is. But yeah, it does have a style that is just very reminiscent of classic platformers. And so that aspect of it is very, very fun. And as you can see there's lots of, unlockables and weapons and things to take out all the baddies that you will encounter along the way. And the game is really cute, but also really fun. And so, yeah, I do recommend it. And I can't comment on how Metroidvania-like it is, but it is $3.24. I can tell you that much, and it is very positive. So, good things on this one. Okay, I recently featured these games in my Steam Gems video because, this developer, Retro Army, they are hilarious. They really do represent a very retro style. In this game, you are a soldier who goes through and you're trying to kill all the baddies and make your way into their secret lairs and blowing things up right, left, and center. It's really, really funny. It's got an interesting sense of humor, and also the art style, it just looks like a janky old PC game, like a early Windows, like Windows 3.1 era. It feels like VGA graphics and whatnot. It's a silly goose of a game is what it is. And yeah, I when I was reviewing this one, I realized that they have another game that I already have that is really good, which is The Spy Who Shot Me. And The Spy Who Shot Me is like, if you like GoldenEye, but wish that it was more like No One Lives Forever, here you go. Here you go right here. No One Lives Forever, sadly, locked on it's stuck. That's a game series that everybody who played it loved, but unfortunately it suffers from the rights holders not letting it be reissued for whatever reason, and it seems like it never will be, and that's just sad because it's such a fun game series. And it takes this whole spy thing and just makes it silly and fun. That's what No One Lives Forever did. And this game is it takes that and just runs with it. So it has the whole James Bondy type vibe. And there's so many wisecracks that the main character makes as you're making your way through levels and whatnot. It's really, really fun, and it's extremely funny, and it's only $3.29. I am going to look to add some more Retro Army games to my collection during the Steam sale. That's something that I realized I need to do because this developer has only made things that I like, in a retro style. And I pulled up my desktop for some reason. That made no sense and was stupid. Anyway, we're late into this video. It's been an hour and a half. My apologies to you. Anyway, let's get through these last few, shall we? The Ramp. I picked this one up last year, and this is a skateboarding game that was made by the developer to be exactly this, no more, no less. You just get different bowls to skate in, different ramps to skate off of, and different moves that you can pull, and then you just go. And That's all it is. And then you try and rack up lots of points and unlock all the achievements. And then after that you just play it, and it's fun. It really is. It's just a super well-made skateboarding game. Am I not showing this in glorious full screen? Yeah, it's obviously late in the video and I'm forgetting what I'm even doing here. Did I mention I'm sick? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get sympathy. I'm trying to explain the lack of professionalism. So, yeah. As for the general lack of professionalism in all of my other videos, I have no excuse. But for this one, a little bit. Anyway, very, very fun game. $3.11. I bought it at full price, which is still not that expensive. But yeah, an extremely fun game that is exactly what it sets out to be, and that's great. Okay, the Torchlight games. The Torchlight games, Torchlight 1 and 2, are the greatest Diablo clones ever made. Hands down, bar none, without peer, they are the greatest Diablo clones ever made. This is just a fact about the world. I'm sorry if you want to disagree. The facts are in. We have the facts and we are voting yes. It's so much fun. It's so great. It takes the Diablo standard and it just adds new, fun, interesting wrinkles, like how you enchant weapons and disenchant them, and how you have a pet that you can send to go sell off your stuff so that you don't constantly have to carry everything all the time. It takes care of some of those pesky issues that are a problem in other games. Now, you can buy the whole Runic Games collection. Hobbs, I've had that game for a while and I have not played it. I need to play it. But Torchlight 2 is also $3.44. Yeah. And Torchlight 2, really great games. Just fantastically good games. Torchlight 2 has, let me maximize it because I know what I'm doing. Torchlight 2 has a secret Minecraft level. It adds new character classes that were not in the original one, and so it's just a lot deeper as a game, and you can just play this forever. You really can. You can play off of the same game save literally forever, because once you beat the game, they just have this like endless dungeon that you can delve down, and it just scales itself because the game is scaled so well to begin with, that it creates this dungeon that you can just go through, and every level that you're on, you will meet enemies that are perfectly balanced against what you're bringing, no matter what level you are. And so you can get stupid maxed out and then just go fight also stupid maxed out baddies forever. Literally forever. And so, yeah, it's such a great game. A beautiful art style. I love the Torchlight games so much. I have beaten them both with each of the characters. I've beaten both games with every single character type in every game. So that's a lot of times that I've beaten these games. But I love them. They're so great. So, yeah, highly recommended. Very cheap right now. Definitely worth the pickup. Believe it or not, we are almost done. I need to show you the Trine games. Now, the more recent ones are a little more expensive, and there are bundles and things that you can get. But I would like to point you to... Where did it go? Where's my original Trine? Yes. Trine, the Enchanted Edition. This is a great puzzle platforming series where you have 3 different characters that you can play as, and they each have different things that they can do to affect the world and help you find your way through the puzzles. There is this roguish lady who can swing on things. There is the mage who can create boxes out of nothing and platforms and whatnot. And then there is this knight who does knight stuff and just kills everybody. And also makes his way through the levels. And you will need all 3 of these character types because the levels are so cleverly designed. There is a reason why there are so many Trine games, and if you've never played one, you owe it to yourself to play one because they are an experience unto themselves. They are a whole deal. They've been doing it for a while. Now, you can bundle these up, $11.37 if you get 1, 2, and 3. You can get the whole shebang. Let's see. I don't know what the difference between Trineverse and Ultimate. Maybe DLC. Oh, you get 9 parchments. 9 parchments is from the same developer, but it's an action RPG rather than a puzzle platformy RPG. Anyway, highly recommended all of these games. Very much fun. And trust me, we're almost done here. We will not see 2 hours of this video, and apologies to you in advance. If the name of this game can be believed, this is the ultimate fishing simulator. Yeah, there you go. It's the ultimate one. So what more do you want? How much better than Ultimate can it get? There is a fishing simulator that I like better than this one that I got for cheaper, but I don't think it's on sale this year. Oh yeah, live action dudes throw. Well, I mean not live action, but cutscene of guys drinking beers and whatnot. That's much less of a thing in this game than you might think. But the part where you are catching fish, absolutely. The one thing I don't like about this game as much is something that a lot of people might really like about it is that you can go into the water and see the fish view of it, which I think is kind of ridiculous because that's not what you get in real life. But yeah, $2.99, you could certainly do much worse. You can, in fact, do better, but maybe not this year. Yeah, so... Gotta have. Whoa, what am I? Back in the infinite regression? That's been a while. When's the last time you were in the infinite regression? Anyway, we're almost done, people. We're in the U's. Taste the almost freedom. Vampire Survivors. You know it. You love it. Because this is the game that everybody gets. And then you get it and you play it. It's... roguelite-ish in that your character gets better over time, and then it becomes absurd. It becomes absolutely absurd. Like, look at how many people this guy's taken out. Like, it's insane the amount of unlockables and whatnots. Like, it's just crazy bananas. The funny thing about this game is that if you get it, you will become absolutely obsessed with it for a while. And then you'll be like, I don't want to play it today. And then you'll not play it for a while. And then you'll be like, dang, it's been a while since I played Vampire Survivors. And then you'll pick it back up and you'll be like, oh, that's why I love this game. And then you'll, kind of sour on it a little bit. And then put it away for a minute. And then you take it back out and be like, yeah. It's very much fun. Okay. I believe there's but one more game, and I will just take us there because I know exactly what it is. It is our friend, Buckle Hat Man #2. See, he got the buckle hat. You got to wear it low on the eyes. But as you can see, this is another Diablo clone-ish RPG. Are you going to give us... There you go. there's the actual gameplay footage. So yeah, Diablo clone with Buckle Hat Man, and so very similar to the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing, very similar to Grim Dawn, are three Buckle Hat Man games. But if you like isometric action RPG with Buckle Hat Man, well, you could certainly do much worse. I don't know of any Buckle Hat Man games that are not actually quite good. So this one is $4.99. And guess what, people? That's the actual end of the video. Did you think it was ever going to come? Because I sure didn't. I've been like suffering my way through this. My wife has been like, are you good? Do you need me to bring you stuff? Like, because after every game, I'm like hacking up along and taking a big old swig of water and blowing my nose. I got a pile of tissues that's just disgusting. Like, it's, yeah, this was an endeavor. So I hope that it's been beneficial. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, people, thank you for being here for this one. The next two videos will not be this long. This is the longest one, I promise. So that's going to do for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.